Welcome to Hair Biz Radio with your hosts Zakira and
Mikey.
And this is episode 14 where we are going to be talking about why you're not getting any hair sales.
And we get that a lot, and people say, I get traffic, but I'm not getting the sales. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about 2018 goals. But first, let's just do a little recap of what we've been having going on this week.
Yeah, so it's been like holiday after holiday. This week was New Year's. How was your New Year's?
New Year's was good. Had some people over. Few people over. It was, on and popping.
Mikey's house is the spot. Yeah, I didn't do anything New Year's. I was asleep by like 12:30. I didn't go anywhere.
Perfect.
Yeah, so everybody got back in the office on Tuesday. Sales were really good this week. And, we got that new.
So we've been working on something. So, as we've talked before, we partnered with a factory in India so we can kind of be their sole distributor here in the USA. And we've been working on this new hair product, hair extension, I should say. The first style we have is the body wave. And it's different than the raw hair, that the curl patterns are all different with all the different bundles just because it's raw hair. This one it's not a steam process, actually. I'm not going to talk about the process because I'm keeping this on the low for now of how they actually do it. So all the bundles look consistent. So like when you buy your normal Brazilian hair, whatever, like I can have 1,000 bundles in a row. They all look the same. So this is the similar concept. But one thing that nobody can beat us on, I'm talking no one. You go to those crappy Chinese vendors on Alibaba and AliExpress, you still can't beat me. Mikey's bringing it big in 2018. The price on the bundles from like probably 18 to 28, unstoppable. We launched the 28-inch right now on private label for $59. How can you beat that?
Hair is good. The hair is good hair.
The hair is great hair. It's fantastic hair. So we're just kind of getting our feet wet with it a little bit, working on some clear closures for it. So like
that's exciting.
Yeah, like a clear lace closure and frontals and all that. So that's all coming together. I'm just so hyped about this hair. I really think this is going to be something so big for all our clients in 2018, especially because just that long hair trend, it's getting even hotter, it seems like.
Yeah, everybody's going for the longer lengths, definitely. And we've already started selling some of it.
Oh, yeah, we sold a lot of it already. I put that thing in the newsletter, and that's like game over. I put one thing in the newsletter, it's sold. That long hair you need for the winter. If I had long hair, I would wrap that thing around. I'll keep you warm this winter because it's cold.
And Tawana was really excited that you sent her some hair for being the member of the month. So we started doing member of the month in the Start a Hair Business group. If you're not familiar with it, it's a hair extension group on Facebook called Start a Hair Extension Business. We have almost 9,000 members, and we talk a lot about the hair industry, hair business. People are just able to network, and they're able to talk about some of the issues that they're having in the hair industry. And then people are just really supportive, and they help each other a lot. So, she was really excited about that.
That group is so on fire. I can't even tell you. First of all, I put in the stats for it of like the likes, comments, and shares and everything. I did that today. So the last 28 days, it had about, I believe the number was like 33,000 likes, comments, shares in 28 days. I mean, that's almost like 1,000 interactions or actions a day within that group.
It's really good.
The group, and you know what I like about the group is we are real serious about how we monitor everything in the group. Me, myself, Zakir, we have some other people that help with it as well, that they're just kind of on the low who they are. But, it's really not a group where you go in, and this is the problem I think with Facebook groups with hair, is you have these groups and literally they'll be like just flooded with spam.
Yeah, salesy.
Salesy, like spam. Oh, I'm a vendor in here and, this place, that place and everything else. Like, it's not about learning and education and really building the community. And so, I mean, you can look at, we run the group, and I can tell you maybe once a month I'm post something about like, hey, buy this. I don't even post about buying it. So I'm not going to let anyone else post about buying.
Yeah.
Right? Like the group is not about selling your stuff. It's about support, getting feedback on logos and websites and building a real community with the private label extensions clients and other people that want to learn about the business. And, I know we have people in there that are just watching, kind of seeing what's going on and kind of getting a feel for things, which I think is real important. Do your research, guys.
For sure. For sure. So over the last really since the group has been started, like a lot of people talk about how they're not getting any sales. Like, I'm getting thousands of visitors, but only a few people are actually like putting things in the cart, but they're not buying. Why is that? Like a lot of people are saying, okay, I've done my logo, I've created my website, I'm posting every day, but I'm still not getting any sales. And they're frustrated.
Yeah, I can feel your frustration. It's basically how every business starts, right? And it's just one of those things. It's going to take time. And what you really need is honest feedback, okay? Because honestly, some of these sites I see, they're
not that great.
They're not that great. They're below average. Like your site nowadays has to look amazing, right? You have to be able to connect with your visitors. And it's just got to look good. It's got to be fast. I'm going to put in the Hair University, I'm going to put a class on image optimization just because that's so important, because nobody likes a slow website.
Oh, yeah.
Because I get on some of these websites and you see the image like slowly loading, and then I'll like right click, save as, put it to my desktop, and then kind of just check out the image, and it'll be like 3 megabytes. Oh my God.
I remember when I used to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but you see the difference now, right?
There's a total difference.
Total difference. There's a lot of little techniques that people still need to learn, but it's also about building a brand.
Yeah.
Right? So think about the people you buy every day from Secura. Like you buy from brands. It's very rare that you just find some random product on a random website you've never heard before, and you're like, oh, I'm going to give this a try.
Yeah, I actually try to stay away from those.
Yeah, like most people do. It takes time to build a brand. And really what people need to focus on is building the brand. And there's so many different aspects about that. But, some of them are, did you get them to sign up for a newsletter by giving them either a discount or maybe an informational, something like that? Are you marketing to them on Facebook? Did you create a YouTube video that they can watch and they can see you're a real person? That kind of stuff always helps. What does your checkout process look like? I probably spent the last 2 days just working on the private label extensions checkout and doing some configurations and, hey, let's test this, let's test that. It's a continual process.
The process matters for sure. I had someone kind of go off on me about, remember when I first put out my free ebook? So I had it as a product, like a $0 product. So you actually had to put in like a billing, shipping address. And they're like, all of this just for a free ebook. So, trial and error. I had to go back and figure out what would work better. So once I set up like the landing page and you just type in your email and you can download the ebook, I got more ebook downloads that way.
And
so it's
more
really just
emails that way.
And more emails. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really just trial and error. The checkout page does matter. Like people like to check out online the easiest way as possible, the easiest and quickest way, because majority of people are using their cell phones, their mobile phones anyway. So literally they just want it to be 1, 2, 3, done. I'll get my product soon.
Yeah, I would say in the hair extension industry, it is absolutely crucial for your success to have a beautifully designed mobile website.
Oh, yeah.
About 75 to 80% of our visitors are on mobile phones. Probably 50% of our sales, because I can see all this in Google Analytics and I have it maxed out, 50% of our sales come from someone on an iPhone, believe it or not. And that's why I've been working on our mobile apps. And I was going to use one system. I don't think I'm going to use it anymore. So I got to go back to the drawing board. I've been, interviewing developers and stuff. It's going to cost a lot for a mobile app. So it's definitely not something you're going to do in the beginning.
Yeah.
But it also, for us, say for private label extensions, you can look at what we're doing and how we're growing. So a mobile app is great for our branding, because imagine having our nice logo on an app on someone's phone screen. So they might not be opening it all the time, But if they downloaded our app, they're still seeing the private label extension's name.
All the time.
I mean, that is so powerful. It's going to cost us a lot to get there, but it's all part of the process.
Yeah.
So people that get discouraged when they get, a few hundred visitors to their site and they might only get one sale. First of all, you got to think the kind of national average for a new website is maybe 1% conversion rate. So if you have 100 visitors, you might get one sale.
Maybe.
Right? So, and then people are like, oh my God, it was so hard to get 100 visitors. Well, yeah, you're just starting out. It is hard. You don't have any SEO power. You have no newsletters. You have no following on social media. It is a grind. You have to hustle to get to this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. And don't stop. Like, it's really cliche. We hear about all the stories about how the millionaires now, they actually like failed multiple times before they actually got to where they are now. Walt Disney, Starbucks, countless other people. Like
pretty much everyone.
Yeah, literally everyone. Mikey has a story. Like, it's just, you have to fall in love with the process. And then once you do that, you'll be able to appreciate the reward at the end. So.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at your small wins. Like every time you get a new email subscriber, think of that as a small win, right? And then think about other ways that you can calculate small wins. So emotionally, because entrepreneurship is so emotional, think about these small wins every day that like, oh, sweet, I got one subscriber. Like to us right now, we get a subscriber every 10 minutes, right? Yeah. But in the beginning, we had no subscribers.
It was a small win when we got to 500. When we got to 1,000.
Yeah.
10,000.
Yeah.
Now it's just kind of like, oh, yeah,
I mean, now our planned, we have our goal set for 2018, what everything is going to look like at the end of 2018. And our email list at the end of 2018 is 6 figures of subscribers. Like, it's big.
Yeah.
Right? But it couldn't have got there until we did the first 100. Right? So focus on the first 100. Stop looking at companies that are real successful and really big and saying, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. I'm just going to give up.
Yeah. We're like a example of the process. Like when we started, it was 2 of us employees and like a box, literally. And now we have like 13 employees and we're getting ready to move into a bigger space. So it's literally a process. It took us 4 years to get to that point.
Yeah. And we, when we first started, think about our first concept was an affiliate marketing setup.
Yeah, something totally different.
Something totally different. And earlier in 2017, we shut down the whole website. It's just an informational page. But we had spent a fortune on that. Like our first site was so expensive, so complex for no reason. The technology just back then wasn't really there in 2014. And like we pushed and pushed, but we found our way. Think about that and remember that. Like that's a great story.
Yeah.
And it was just all part of the process. Like if we just said, hey, this doesn't work, and it was working okay. I mean, our sales were pretty respectable actually, but nothing like what we're doing with private label extensions and dropship bundles. If we had just stopped, we would never be here.
Yeah, no. Then the other thing that you have to recognize is, although it's more than a $15 billion industry, there's still a lot of hair companies out here. So you have to, someone also put it in the group the other day, but you definitely have to figure out what makes you different. Like, why should I buy hair from you when there's like another hair company that does millions of dollars a year? You know what I mean? So you have to figure out what makes you different. And then once you figure that out, start daily working towards building that brand, that different brand.
Yeah, so it's going to be all about branding with hair extensions. As far as the supply goes, we would love everyone to work with private label extensions. We know not everybody is, but we have a considerable amount of clients at this point.
Yeah.
But it's even for us, building our brand as kind of a wholesale supplier, we do, the packaging and labeling and everything else for people. It's still a consistent process for us as far as branding, what's next.
Yeah. People are buying the brand, not the product.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
People connect with us. That's one of the reasons why we do this podcast is people connect with us. I mean, think about it. It makes a big difference. People say, hey, I know Mikey and Zakira. I see them in the group all the time. I see them on the podcast. We're recording this for YouTube. We kind of see them everywhere. We trust them. You have to build the trust.
Know, like, and trust.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to build the trust. So I think that's really important. I think everyone really needs to think about what they're offering on their website. What does it really look like? Am I really connecting with my clients? And, another thing is for a lot of girls that wear the hair, like you really need to wear the hair.
Yeah.
Because we have people that come in here to our showroom and pick up product day in and day out. And they literally just walk around and they're like, yeah, people just come up to me all the time and ask me about a hair.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I have my own brand. They hand them a business card and then it's like, boom, sale.
Yeah. And Mikey, you've said this before about how, you come out with the brand, someone may not buy from you until 6 months down the line. Like it's hair extensions. Maybe they just got a fresh sew-in and they have new bundles and, they don't need hair right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's not like food you need every single day. Hair is awesome, but you don't buy it every single day. So you have to get in their timeline. And sometimes it's just out of luck. I mean, it might be a year from now from when they see your ad, because every time, maybe your ad missed them or they just didn't make it back to your site and they bought it somewhere else. And it might be a year down the road and just like, you know what? I've gotten their emails. I saw them on YouTube. I, follow them on Facebook, all this. I'm going to give them a try. And sometimes it takes that long.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's how all great brands and companies are built. It's not just immediate. Like the times that people come to our site for the first time and buy, very few people, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And I can speak from the millennial generation. A lot of millennials that are starting businesses or whatever it is that they may be doing, it's kind of like we're so used to instant gratification. Like if it doesn't happen right now, we think that it's not going to work. And that's not the case. Like you have to work. Like focus on the work, not the win. WHEN and WIN.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. I can give you two quick examples. So back in 2006, when I was in the food industry, right, and I was importing food from Thailand, I was like, I have no money. I had enough to get the food, like all the packaged products over and all this stuff. I'm like, how am I going to sell this stuff? So I built the website. It was ugly, okay?
What platform did you use?
It was called Pro Stores. It was actually owned by eBay. They're not around anymore.
Gotcha.
I wonder why. So one of the things I started doing was creating YouTube videos for food in 2006. There wasn't a lot of me over like in 2006 creating YouTube videos for food, okay? Whether it was about food or if I continued it about me, think about this, okay? Even if I was horrible at YouTube, okay, and I was actually pretty decent, even if I was horrible, now it's 12 years later, because just a few days ago would have been my 12-year anniversary for the company.
Oh,
That's
wow.
no longer here.
Yeah.
But 12 years later, if I just stayed consistent with YouTube, even if I was horrible, I mean, thankfully I'm a great looking guy, but even if I was horrible, how many subscribers do you think I would have after 12 years? I would have so many.
A lot.
Let me tell you this. I haven't created a video on that channel in 10 years, and I still have 500,000 views.
Wow.
Where would I be today with that? Okay, so that's like way before everyone was doing YouTube videos and all this stuff, right? I made the mistake because I stopped. I didn't believe the process, and I stopped, okay? Let me give you one more example. In 2010, okay, I wanted to start a podcast. Now, in 2010, there weren't many podcasts, okay? I wanted to start a podcast. I did my first interview. I got one of these like Zoom recorders, I think like a H4. It looked like so different than the cool ones they look today. And I did this interview, and it was about food entrepreneurs, okay? Because I was in the food business, and I said, hey, it would be great if I did a podcast because a lot of people now want to be in the food business. Let me interview these entrepreneurs, talk about this, that, the mistakes, how do you get started? Similar to this, okay? What if I continued with that podcast 8 years later? What would my podcast look like today? Even if I wasn't even good. Money, okay? So you got to think, holy cow. So I personally have learned from my lessons because I had not only that, I mean, I have countless of these stories where it's like these types of opportunities, because I didn't understand that you have to accept the process and understand it's going to take a while, no matter if you're good or bad.
Yeah.
It's a lot faster if you're good, but
Yeah.
you got to learn along the way, right? These are the kind of things that you have to realize, like, hey, like that's why in the hair business, I said we do a lot of the blog posts, right? I know I'm not going to see a return for 6 months to a year on a lot of these posts because Google they just don't rank people like that.
Yeah.
Right? You have to earn your spot. And we still do it. And yes, I still get discouraged at times. Mornings I wake up and I was like, Google doesn't like me. Look at my results. Google doesn't like me. But and then I'm like, okay, pump the brakes. Let me, watch some SEO video and kind of like slap myself around. Hey, Gary V, what's up? Just something like good motivation. And I'm like, okay, I'm good again.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like about understanding the process. Because as soon as you forget the process.
Oh, yeah. As soon as it goes out the window, it's just.
You're done.
Mm-hmm.
You're done.
Yeah. So you have to kind of like really just stay focused. Don't worry about the sales that you're not getting. Worry about your potential customers. Worry about branding. Make sure everything is in line. And eventually the sales will come.
Yeah. I mean, it's bound to happen. It's how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
And, that's why sometimes people buy all this, a ton of hair up front. And I'm like, you might not want to do that because you don't know what your customers are going to really want to buy.
Right.
And, that's one of the reasons why we created our dropship program was just because it might take a while. Like you might want to invest that money in other stuff. And then, we basically on demand can ship it for you.
Oh, yeah.
So, think about that too, for people that are on a budget. Because a lot of times people will contact us and say, I have $1,000 to get started. What should I do?
Yeah. And I always tell people, I always recommend the dropship option because what happens if you spend $5,000 on hair and then your first sale is something that you don't even have? So then you're doomed.
I mean, as much as, because people are like, I'll come in there, I'll spend like $3,000, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa. As much as I would love for you to spend all this money with us, pump the brakes. There's some more important steps first, right? Because I'm thinking of the longevity of my clients being in the hair business, okay? That's more important for let's build a long-term relationship than you coming to me and buying, $3,000 worth of hair up front and then realizing like, oh, I couldn't sell it right away or they needed something else. Because as soon as you think you have everything, they want something else, right? So it's like, accept the process. And to help with this whole thing that we're talking about. So as you know, I'm a teacher now at hairuniversity.co. Okay.
How many students?
We're over 400.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm legit, not accredited, just legit, my own mind, which is a little crazy, okay? So with Hair University, we have our 2 classes already. You're working on one as well.
Yeah.
My next class, which will again be free, okay, is the basics of starting a hair business. And I'm going to walk everybody through from A to Z on the basics. I'm not talking, these real in-depth, detailed strategies, but most people aren't going to get that anyway. Because, I sit down and start talking SEO to people, and people are like,
wait, what?
Wait, Mikey, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, oh, yeah. Let's just start with the basics first, right? Let's get the basics down first. Then you go to intermediate. That's why they have like levels in life. Yeah. You have the basic, you have the intermediate, and then you have kind of the advanced.
And you have to max out your levels before you move on to the next one.
Yeah. If you try to go just from, the basic to advanced,
if you go from a domain name to like SEO, it's like, wait, wait, what? No.
You got to kind of live and breathe the stuff for a little while so it all makes sense. It'll be a little bit more clear. Because sometimes when I take online courses, at first I'm like, why do I have to learn all this? It doesn't make sense to me now. And then it'll be kind of a couple weeks into the course, and I'm like, that's why they wanted to know what movies our clients watch. Like, it gets that specific when it comes to real serious advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
So it's just part of the process. So I think 2018 should be all about embracing the process.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And execution.
Like, stop fiddling on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Scrolling through Instagram is not getting you sales. Write a blog post, create a YouTube video, comment in some groups, get feedback on stuff, start working on building your brand.
Yeah.
and don't rely on your friends and family to buy from you first.
It's a big one.
That's the big one. Anytime I can post that, if I just want to create an uproar in our Facebook group, I literally will just put something about, guys, don't rely on your family and friends. They're not going to buy from you as soon as you start your business. You're not going to get support. That's it. And then it's just like a flood of comments come in like, my friends said they're going to buy from me and then they didn't. And, they said they were going to have me make a wig and I got the hair. Then they bought it from someone else. Like, learn how to sell outside of your circle.
Yeah. I must be like really blessed because all the products that I've sold, like my friends, they buy all my products.
Actually, I do see that a lot.
They buy all of my products. Like, I have the best friends ever.
Zakira, she's actually really good at selling. She should have a course on how to sell to your friends and family because I actually have seen it. Like, she launched her planner, and it is incredible how many friends and family buy it. She's just like, okay, how much you got in your purse? Oh, 40 something dollars. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, here, I got my planner right here. You said you were gonna buy it. Oh no, it's okay. We can do it right now. No, you can get groceries later, honey.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Exactly. Let me tell you something, ladies. You better start slinging these bundles at the bar, wherever you frequent at, church, the grocery store.
I know a lot of people that sell hair in church.
Yeah,
the church is a hot spot for hair.
Everywhere. I'm telling you, I sell stuff everywhere.
And I really want to reiterate one thing is, sometimes we get comments from guys like, hey, I'm a guy. Can I be in the hair industry?
Of course.
This, that, the other. Look, I'm the proof. Like, I don't wear the hair, which I think is an advantage to me. But, some people might disagree. I just rely on customer and client feedback of, client quality and everything else. But you got to remember online, people don't know who you are online.
Mm-hmm.
You can be anyone online and sell. So if it's not hair, it could be any product. It's kind of like a level playing field. And the biggest advantage that you could have is a good mindset and a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. And don't worry about what other people are doing. Like, I've seen, I want to say it might have been 2 people within the last week that actually came in, and I was talking to them and just like, well, there's a lot of people who are selling hair. I don't know if I want to sell it here, if I want to go somewhere else. And I'm just like, don't focus on what other people are doing. Like, you'll never get the sales that you want to get focusing on someone else's sales. Like, just focus on your brand, focus on what you need to do to build the brand, and then everything will work out.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're working on is, when I talk to my consultants, is they say, okay, Mikey, let's go over last year, 2017, right?
Yeah.
I just had a call the other day. Let's go over 2017. What really worked? Okay. So I picked the top 5 things that really worked. Now my focus is those top 5 things.
Yeah.
Like these shiny objects, like, oh, there's this new platform here. There's this new way you can do this. There's this, that, the other. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, focus on what worked.
Focus on what works. And, they walked me through a lot of case studies with how fast Facebook grew and eBay and, showed me some of the examples. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty incredible. Like the growth team at Facebook, they're ballers, okay? They get whatever they want. They do whatever they want because they grew, Facebook from 50 million to multi-billion users now.
Wow.
And they focused on what worked. And they really hit it hard.
That's great.
Yeah. So focus on what works, guys.
Oh, yeah. And a little, so today Mikey put in the Facebook group a contest, which was actually a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So we're going to have a lot of contests. I think, if not weekly, every other week. So by the time this gets edited and put out, it's not going to be, it'll probably be a different contest. But so if you're thinking about joining the Start a Hair Extension Business Group, I will have a link in the show notes. Highly recommend you joining it. It's a lot of fun. Like, it's nice to actually see stuff about the hair industry and positivity in a group.
For sure.
And we're going to keep it that way in 2018.
So make sure you guys definitely subscribe. Visit hairbizradio.com. We have tons of show notes. There's a lot of links in there, a lot of resources that you can go to online if you're, if you rather read than listen, which some people prefer to read. But make sure you guys subscribe.
Yes. And we are looking forward to an amazing 2018. We are going to be packed with more of Zakira and I with tips about the hair business, as well as interviews with industry professionals from all over the U.S. We're going to figure out how to do our Skype interviews. I swear I'm going to set this thing
Oh,
up.
yeah.
So we're going to have interviews. So if you know somebody that you think would be great for the podcast, please have them send us an email, contact@hairbizradio.com. And we'd love to hear from them. And that would maybe give us a little more motivation to set up our fancy recording equipment for that.
Oh, yeah. So until next time.
That's it, guys. Episode 14 of Hair Biz Radio.